Alright guys, Tactical Rabbit here again today, and the title of today's video is not as outrageous as it may sound at first sight. There has been some rumours and some leaks over the last day or so that I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't aware of. Pretty much only coming, well, a few sources that have been piled together from Crone, who runs the CWL Intel account. He hasn't posted it on his Twitter, he's put it in his Discord, the likelihood of this rumour. And this rumour, I think there's a few other reasons why it may be more and more likely. We'll get into that today. So yeah, first of all, wanted to talk a bit about Modern Warfare and a bit about some players' announcements coming up, especially around franchising. Then we want to get into this rumour in more detail. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Like if you do, subscribe if you are new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, let's chat briefly about this Modern Warfare Alpha. Be interested to hear your thoughts down below. Some of you guys left some thoughts yesterday. I'm sure that by today more of you will have had an opportunity to actually get on and play it. I personally had a pretty good experience playing it last night. I was actually quite impressed at how the gunplay felt. Still Call of Duty-ish, even though the actual animations are really rather different. This is a funny clip here from Clayster, the fact that, you know, it's impossible to fall off the map in these gunfight maps, but Clayster still manages to find a way to die, somehow falling off and taking 100 damage. Not sure how he's managed that one, but the game clearly has something against Clayster, let's put it that way. So yeah, be interested to hear your thoughts down below. On the whole, I'm pretty impressed with it. Looking forward to the year. I think the honestly, the movement feels much smoother than I expected it to. The fact that you can double sprint, if you guys aren't aware, if you're sprinting and you feel like it feels a bit slow, you can double tap sprint and you will sprint faster for a limited amount of time. But pretty much if you do the double sprint and then jump, like strafe jump around corners, it makes the movement very, very smooth. And honestly, you can really be pretty cracked out as if you're playing a much faster paced game. So I think it's much better on the whole than Modern Warfare Remastered was in terms of the pacing and other features like that. I think it's going to be a more fun game, to be honest, to play and to watch. So looking forward to that one. So a few other comments here before we move onwards. Patrick Price, Paddy P8 says the following: headshot multiplayer has to get tuned. Right now, to be honest, when you do hit the headshot, you really feel like you've got high cal on your gun, high cal 2, high cal 3 even. You know, Hipfire giving random headshot kills because of how strong it is. Hopefully they majorly adjust that. I think that is a fair point. I don't like headshots having a lot of multiplayer because you can get some gunfights where you get a lucky headshot in there or your opponent gets a lucky headshot and you just get absolutely mollywopped, even though a lot of the time the headshots aren't coming from good aim, they are coming from just random flinch or random recoil, whatever the case may be. So that's an interesting point I thought I would bring to your guys' attention. Moving onwards here, this comes from Lion Man. This is the Simp COD Champs MVP card from COD Champs, which of course finished last weekend. What an unbelievable set of statistics here. This is good enough for a 97, and Lion Man gives him. I think that Formal's Infinite Warfare Champs performance maybe has a 98 or a 99. I'm not sure whether Lion Man went all the way to the 99 on that one. 97 seems about right for this though. Like map count 29 and 8. Just phenomenal stuff. And this guy obviously incredibly hot prospects going into next year, which we'll kind of get into in the latter half of this video. So another couple of things to mention. These are the, this is Crone, CWL Intel has put together this spreadsheet. Very nice, to be honest. It runs through pretty much all of the players and what their movements have been. So just thought I'd run through a few of these quickly, just so you can see the kind of names that are either unrestricted, restricted free agents. So unrestricted free agents mean, I'm pretty sure it means that they don't have a buyout. If someone wants to go and pick them up, no problem at all. Just salary them, contract them in your com. Whereas a Pharaoh, a Blast, whatever, they're still contracted to those organizations, which means that if they have some sort of buyout, if they want to be maneuvered onto another team. So lots of interesting things here to discuss, especially, you know, the likes of Hook, who's changed his bio back to Envy from Splice, and JCap Apathy, Exotic, Restricted Free Agents, and all of these other things that are going on. Just to go through a couple of tweets here. So Exotic says, with the 2019 season over, I can say I'm a restricted free agent for the 2020 CDL season. JCap says the same thing. So yeah, just thought I'd go through a couple of tweets here. And Patrick Price with the following: announcement of an announcement I will announce on Monday. Thank you for reading. So a lot of people have speculated exactly what's going to happen here, whether it's, I very much doubt it's a team announcement. I won't think they'd have got that all sorted this early. Wonder what it will be, whether it is actually something Call of Duty related, whatever. A lot of people are thinking it might be announcing his retirement. Personally, I doubt that because he's just come off Black Ops 4, again, which obviously didn't suit his playstyle. The year before in World War II, he was a much better player. People kind of forget he was a, well, you know, he was a decent middle of the pack kind of player in World War II. Black Ops 4 undeniably in the bottom tier, which, you know, with Modern Warfare coming out, surely Aches is thinking, well, come on, this is my year. World War II, I won the World Championship. Aches is probably the greatest boots on the ground Call of Duty player, you could say, because the games that have been boots on the ground that he's played in, that's where he's had all his success. Black Ops 2, Ghosts, then a few years of Jetpacks, didn't have too much success, and then World War II wins the World Championships again. So you pretty much have to say Aches is right up there as one of the best boots on the ground players of all time. It would surprise me if he would decide on the verge of the new game coming out and franchising that he was going to retire. Not sure what it's going to be though, so yeah, I'm sure you guys can feel free to speculate. So here we go, this is what I wanted to get into. Crone, CW Intel, has a Discord channel that I will leave links down below if you guys would like to join it. He has a channel over here on the left called COD Rumours, and in here he will sometimes post things that he has heard. Posted a lot of stuff which has turned out to be true. We know this guy gets a lot of intel from various sources within the community that DM him stuff. Pros have given him information, and generally this kind of stuff he says turns out to be true. So sources were telling Crone about a week ago that the Florida spot was to be announced tomorrow by Misfits. Indeed, it exactly was. This came into his Discord just last night. Rumour, and let's make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Scump to Envy is a legitimate possibility. I didn't want to post about it before since it's huge news, but I've heard it from multiple people over the past few weeks. So he hasn't tweeted this out yet, so I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't aware of this. So of course, this is incredibly interesting stuff, and the potential comes around what I think is where Hector will go, because we know that a lot of the Optic guys get on very well with Hector. They consider it Hector's Optic Gaming. We know that Optic Gaming, Hector Rodriguez is not going to be involved with that. Now Immortals has bought it out. They have a Los Angeles spot. Hector is not going to be involved with that. The big question over the last several months really has been where Hector will go. Is he going to, partner up with somebody like Gary V, for example, who, invested in one of the spots? We'll have a look at the spots right here. So, these are the spots that have been announced so far. I think it was Minnesota that, Hector was talking to Gary V over at, Wise Ventures. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right. And they were having discussions potentially about Hex getting involved with some sort of franchising in Minnesota. Turns out that Optic Midnight has gone to be some sort of content manager or, general manager over at that Minnesota Call of Duty spot. So that's definitely something Optic related that's gone over there. Whether Hex has been involved there is potentially. But, as I say, we haven't heard much about that for a while. There also has been rumours for a while that maybe Hex is getting involved, trying to get involved with Hastro, and talking to him about this Envy situation. Because, of course, Hex and Hastro go way back. Optic, Envy, legendary rivalries over the years. Of course, it didn't work out for Hector on Optic, but it has done for Hastro, and he's still going, and Envy have a spot locked in here in the Call of Duty League. Whether Hastro will decide to try and partner up with Hastro, or whether Hex will try and partner with Hastro, again, they're a little bit mixed up, and try and do something with Envy, who knows, but that's definitely an idea. And the fact that maybe Scump might be going there as well, and maybe that's part of what Hastro has been dealing with behind the scenes, who knows? But this is a possibility, because let's not forget, this Optic Gaming team, they're not going to be the same next season. There's no denying that. I don't think that was ever really going to be a possibility. I think a lot of the teams, pretty much, probably all of the teams, I don't know whether every single team is going to split up going into next season. I think this idea of a draft is becoming less and less likely, but pretty much all the teams will probably split, because so many things are changing, and there's possibilities of substitutes and all of these things that I doubt really any of the teams will say the same. Possibly the world champions, but even then it's up for questions, because I heard months and months ago that Envy were looking to try and get Arcetes on their team to build some sort of super team. Whether that's still a possibility, I'm not sure, but Hook has put Envy back in his bio. He's going to be on the Envy squad. I heard also that it might be possible that when he was loaned out to Splice, they was thinking, okay, maybe he can get on Splice, we'll loan him out for a bit, we'll keep him happy, maybe he can get Temp back as they did well in the past. Obviously on Splice it didn't work out, so probably Hook is just coming back into the team. Gunless, I think, was on loan from LG, but I haven't heard too much whether he's technically back on LG, and I'm not sure how likely it is that LG will get a spot. If they don't, I can very much see, Gunless still being on Envy. I think that was part of the plan with Envy, prepping for franchising going into Champs, loan out Hook, keep him happy, bring him back, then get Gunless on the team, then see where we go from there. Arcetes might be a possibility, but who knows? As we said, E-United, unlikely to get a spot, don't have the capital, not some of these big names. We know how much Call of Duty is changing going into this season. So, maybe they can get Arcetes, who would be a good SMG partner to Hook, possibly a guy like Scump. And let's let's not forget, he has been on Envy in the past. If you guys are real OGs of the scene, you might remember this back at the start of 2014 when he controversially left Optic for Envy for a couple of weeks before then rejoining Optic when they completely overhauled their roster and put Clayster back on it. But he did join very briefly to this team. He does have a relationship with Hastro, so it kind of makes sense that Scump might want to go on to Envy, given the fact that he doesn't want to be, as far as we're aware, none of the guys really want to be on this Optic Gaming branded team anymore, because it's not the Optic Gaming they know, it's Optic Gaming with different owners, it's not Hector's team that he's involved with, so maybe they'd be tempted to go onto a team which Hector would be involved with, maybe Envy, but of course that is wild speculation of rumours, can't say anything of the sort there for that to be a fact. But we have heard a lot of the guys on Optic saying that they're not particularly interested, they don't want to be involved with the Optic Gaming brand that's going to have a Los Angeles spot next season. Maybe some of them will stay, but I'm sure a lot of them would want to maybe move to different teams, and it might be the right time to do it because, Scump and the like has been on Optic Gaming for absolutely donkey's years, and maybe this is the time, with all the other things changing, that he finally moves organisation. I know a lot of you guys commented on yesterday's video, things along the lines of, you just follow Scump wherever he goes, because Scump's been such a presence in Call of Duty. Without his videos, I wouldn't have gone into competitive Call of Duty, no doubt about that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are in a similar position who have been around a fair few years. So, obviously a massive name, obviously a huge fan base behind him, obviously a lot of fans are going to want to follow him to whatever team he goes to. So if he does decide to leave and change teams, it's not even really a change of teams, because Optic Gaming are not going to be called Optic Gaming next season. They're going to be the Los Angeles Optic, potentially, because Immortals and Ari Sagala Immortals have said that if they get rid of all of their other Optic Gaming branded stuff in every other esport, then they can call this spot based around the Optic Gaming brand. But even then, it's still not Optic Gaming, and there's been a lot of talk that the players don't want to be involved with it. So this seems relatively likely to me, and with Hook gunless on the team, Scump, it's possible, having played with a lot of the guys that he's played with on this team for a long time, he might be thinking about switching it up, playing with some different guys, playing with the likes of Gunless, who I think Scump gets on relatively well with. We've seen pictures of them at events and going to festivals and concerts and this sort of stuff together. And, Hook obviously is, even though maybe I can do a video on talking about whether he's overrated or whatever, because a lot of the talk was that if Splice doesn't succeed, maybe Hook is something to be talked about, and definitely that's a conversation. And while the fans might not think of Hook particularly highly, the pros certainly do, and think he's an incredibly talented player, and, maybe he doesn't add too much to the team in terms of communication, whatever. There's talk from some of the fans that he might be a toxic element to a team. Not sure I buy that, but the pros really get along with Hook and think he's a fantastic talent. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Scump is the hottest prospect pretty much in the entire league. The fan base and the likes that he can bring with him, he is definitely the hottest prospect. So he can play with whoever he wants, to be honest, this season. And if he does decide to go this route, it would be interesting. Nothing confirmed right now, only rumours, want to reiterate that. But I think these kind of things are relatively likely. Be interested to hear your thoughts down below. If there are any more rumours, I'll of course keep you guys updated as soon as possible. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you are new. As always, things are moving very, very quickly. Call of Duty is changing very much from how we have been used to it before. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I already said that once, but whatever, might as well say it again. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and I will see you next time.